Hearts Recoded. More like Kingdom Hearts Hi guys, it's Matt here again. How are you doing, brother in Christ? I've been avoiding this game for the longest time now. Yes, I'm a Kingdom Hearts YouTuber who hasn't played all the Kingdom Hearts games before. Shoot me, I played all the other ones. This is just the last thing on my list. And you know, that's not without reason. Obviously, you probably all know why at this point. If there ever was a black sheep of the Kingdom Hearts series, this puppy's it. I mean, that's not entirely fair. This thing has actual stuff in it. So let's go over what this game actually is. Kingdom Hearts Recoded was released back on the DS back in 2011, which is over 12 years ago. I'm old. It is the fourth in the infamous line of Kingdom Hearts portable spin-off games. Second on the DS after 358 Days Over 2, which is the correct way to say that. Better say it like that or else you will go to hell. As indicated by the re in the title, this is a remake of a mobile game that was released exclusively in Japan back in 2008. Released in several chapters over the span of a year and a half. Eventually got ported over to the Nintendo DS. And knowing how limited mobile games were back in the day, yeah, there wasn't that much to that game, even then. And that's pretty much it, really, for this game. This game doesn't really impact the major overall story of Kingdom Hearts, except for the very end with one major plot point, and the rest of it's just kind of filler. It's mostly just an excuse to play Kingdom Hearts 1 again, which is already what Chain of Memories and Days were already, so, you know... Great start. I didn't have this game growing up. When I started getting more into Kingdom Hearts again, I didn't get it then either. Just didn't really seem that necessary, that important. So I just kind of left it and just watched the movie in 2.5. Why did I not buy this game? I mean, look how shiny this cover is. Look at that. I am about to bust. But I've been trying to fill out my Kingdom Hearts collection. This and a PSP copy of Birth by Sleep is all I'm missing. Since I'm getting this game for this, I wanted to give this game a fair shake. Because there's an actual game here. It's not just story filler. There's actual shit in this game. Believe me, I was shocked too. I've seen gameplay of it online. I know how it's like, but I've never actually played it myself. That's changing today. I'm gonna give this game a fair shake. I'm going to judge it based on its own merits as a game and give you guys my opinion on it when I'm done. But wait. There's a problem. Game's rated E10+. I'm 9, so I can't play this game, guys. I'm sorry. I'll get back to you in approximately, when I'm done. I got other stuff going on in life right now, like eating some good dino nuggies. Ooh. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye! Wish that was a little bit smoother.
Mickey! It's Riku! They put bugs in him!
Alright guys, I'm back. Had to finish my dino nuggies up. They were really good, by the way. So I just finished Recoded here, at least the main story of it. As promised, I have come back to give you my opinions on this fucking game, because God knows no one's dunked on this enough. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Game that I've been avoiding for the longest time because of what people have said about it, at least the story of it, seeing as kind of a useless entry. What are my actual opinions on this game right here? It's not that bad. In fact, I would say it's all right. In fact, I would probably say it's kind of good. Talk about Kingdom Hearts here. Didn't really have a bad game in its canon, except fairly enjoyed my time with Recoded. Much better than I thought it would be. It's not the best game in the world, obviously. Kingdom Hearts 2 game for what it is, a port of a mobile game on aging hardware. It does its job pretty alright. In fact, should I say this? Ooh, out of the two Kingdom Hearts games on the DS, I might prefer this one. Gameplay-wise, don't shoot. There's a lot more to this game than meets the eye, and I was fairly surprised with some of the stuff that was in it. Also, don't worry, guys. I did get my parents' permission before I played this game. They were worried about the E10+ rating, but they were able to let me play it this time. So thank you, Mom, for that. We would be in trouble otherwise. Anyways, let me go over my thoughts on this game. Just before we get into this, I want to let you know that I played this game as God himself intended on the new 3DS. Circle Bad makes life easier. And I played it on standard difficulty. So I'm not a pussy, okay? I'm a boy. So this is not going to be the most in-depth review ever. I'm just going to go over my general opinions on the game. Split it up into 3 sections: presentation, story, and gameplay. Presentation, because I don't have a lot to say about that. And gameplay, because I have a lot more to say about that. So yeah, let's go. Let's get this shit. Let's get this shit. Let's get this shit. Let's get this shit. Let's go. This is why I make YouTube videos, so I don't have to take the pills anymore. So presentation. This game, it's a DS game in 2011. A 3D DS game in 2011. Not going to expect gold out of this. You know, for what it is, it's all right. Pretty much the exact same graphics that were used in 358. That makes sense because that game already exists, so they have the engine ready and they can just use that to port over the game. I can see a lot of assets reused from Days as well. I just finished a playthrough of Days, and a lot of that kind of stuff felt familiar. That's not a problem. It's just, you know, makes it easier to make. Fits in with the Kingdom Hearts style, pretty nice. Cutscenes are different in this game than they are in Days. Static comic scenes, not like the text box stuff that was used in Days. I'm sure that was to get this thing out faster. Looking at the release schedule of Coded, this was probably developed alongside that, and it works for that. It helps get the story across. There's a couple FMV sequences here and there. You know, those are nice. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing special. It adapts the Kingdom Hearts style to the DS like Days did pretty well. The Disney worlds are colorful and nice looking. I'll get into more of the level designs themselves in the gameplay section. Yeah, not much to say there. It's a DS game, and that's what you get with it. Only major problem I have with it is that it tends to chug in certain areas, like when there's a lot of enemies on the screen or there's a lot of stuff going on in the battle or something. It tends to chug, and sometimes it can get away the gameplay, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really happen that much. It's a late stage DS game. What do you expect? That's all I really have to say about the graphics presentation. It's fair. For the story, it's there. It has one. It has one. That's more than you could say about some other games nowadays. But yeah, this game is most known for being very isolated in the overall canon of the story and not really important to understand the full grasp of the story. You could really summarize it in 2 sentences. The letter at the end of 2 was about the Birth by Sleep trio, and Xehanort's back. It's there. That's all you can really say about it. The story follows the Disney crew as they were trying to figure out what's going on with Jiminy's journal. As you know, a lot of the stuff was deleted for Kingdom Hearts 1 in Chain of Memories because of what Castle Oblivion does. There's a lot of stuff missing from the journal, and there's one entry that they just can't explain. There's a lot of bugs, and they send in Mr. Data Sora in his one and only appearance, I think, to solve this issue. And then you explore the worlds and do the stuff from there. There's a couple little things in there, like Mickey and Donald getting trapped in the Dayscape along with Maleficent and Pete, figure out who the hooded figure was, and, you know, stuff like that. Out of all the Kingdom Hearts stories, this one is obviously the most lackluster. And you know, it makes sense because it's ported from a mobile game from the year 2008. This is on mobile phones, on a fucking dial pad, press 9 to beat the shit out of enemies type shit. I think they did add some stuff for the remake. Some more story elements were added. I'm not too familiar with that version of it, but I know that there was a lot of limited stuff in that game. They changed a lot of stuff around to fit it for the DS. Still very limited in scope. The mobile game itself was released over 10 chapters, and, you know, it does feel very chopped up. You only go to 3 Disney worlds in this game: Wonderland, Agrabah, and Olympus Coliseum, so you're kind of limited in what you're able to explore in this game. You go to the non-Disney stuff too, like Destiny Islands, Traverse Town. Only 3 Disney worlds compared to the other games in the series. Very lackluster. Out of all the Kingdom Hearts games, I would say this story is geared most towards kids. I mean, Kingdom Hearts is full of fluffy, kind of friends are my power language, but this has the most out of all condensed into one tiny package. Not a lot of craziness going on, very simple missions, and when you're talking to people, it's very jovial and stuff. The kids love Recoded, and it's fairly short. I beat the main campaign in about 13 hours. Longer than, you know, like a Call of Duty or something like that. But for a Kingdom Hearts game, main campaign, pretty short. I didn't 100% it or anything. That will take you much longer to do, but to get through the main story only takes you about 13 hours. Not that bad. Yeah, I would say it's a lot more innocent feeling than, I guess, the later Kingdom Hearts games, you know, was bogged down with all this story stuff. This one's kind of simple, and you kind of appreciate that a little bit with how crazy the story gets. You know, just kind of having a simpler story, kind of having something that's more contained, and, you know, just something that's a pure, fun Disney kind of experience. You kind of appreciate it. So, you know, kudos to that. If you're really just more concerned about the main Kingdom Hearts story, skip it. But if you just want a little fun experience, a little fun story to keep you over while you get to the other games, you could do much worse. There's only one big problem I have with the story, though. This game goes on for longer than it should. I know I just said that it was short at 13 hours, but what I mean by that is when you're at Hollow Bastion, you're finishing the final glitch or virus of the game. It's being hyped up as the final battle. Mickey and Donald have been saying the goodbyes to Data Sora and stuff like that. And when you're done, you picks up the journal and Data Sora's gone. But They decided to keep the story going for some reason. We still haven't solved what that journal piece was about. We forgot about that. And so we got to go back in again, and we have to use it as an excuse to play Chain of Memories again. I mean, it's only like an hour or two, and the final boss with Roxas is kind of cool. But I think it should have ended at Hollow Bastion, where that was. They could have fit the other story stuff in there and not have to extend the game out. Maybe that's a byproduct of it being on a mobile platform and they wanted to keep it going a little bit longer. You know, that's it. Again, self-contained story. Could beat it pretty quickly. It's something you could appreciate with it being a little bit smaller with all the stuff that came after. Finally, let's talk about gameplay. This game's actually pretty fun, not gonna lie. Again, I did play this on a circle pad, so that helped a little bit. But the gameplay in this game was actually pretty fun. Ingrained in the standard Kingdom Hearts formula, press button to kill, and other things. I just want to press X to kill. I'm a simple man. I like simple things. But the big thing this game has compared to Days is the command deck is here. This is right after Birth by Sleep came out, which is what introduced that system to the world. They decided to implement it in this game too. A lot of people are iffy how it can be very distracting sometimes to wait for things to load because you're trying to use a certain move to do something, or you're trying to use a certain spell and you have to wait it out. And you know, the wait times for the command deck are here too, obviously. I don't think it gets in the way of gameplay that much. You have to be very strategic. It's very much a strategy based part of the game of what you use and how you use it and how you use it in combination with other things. And if you get the right combination, you can be pretty OP in this game. You know, I've never had much of a problem with it. It can get in the way sometimes with the charging and stuff when you're trying to do a certain thing. Like, you know, you still have mash X to kill. One of the big things that this game adds is the system sector things. The worlds, there's certain weird stuff that happens, and in order to fix them, you have to get rid of bugs. To do that, you have to go into the system sector sections where you have a certain amount of enemies to defeat, and you can unlock prizes at the end of it if you do a certain thing well, like they offer you a challenge. If you wager 10% of your earnings to that point, don't get hit 7 times, and if you complete that, you'll get that back, or if you don't, you'll lose that 10%. I think it's really fun. Some of them can be hard, those challenges, but going through the different system sectors, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool different gameplay options in the command deck itself. You can add like a special move like a shock, or you can have Roxas's light rays. I think if you beat the game, you get that. Those can make Sora pretty fucking OP. Like, if you plan the command deck system right, unlock the right amount of stuff, unlock the right amount of slots, you can bust shit in this game. And you know, that's a lot of fun just to kind of wail at enemies. Data Sora's goated with the sauce. Is regular Sora goated with the sauce? I don't think so. Let's talk about the different systems that it has. The big thing in this game is the matrix system. Since you're in a datascape, since you're in a computer, a lot of stuff is revolved around computer-like stuff. And a lot of that involves the stat matrix system. So it's pretty much a grid where you can fill in slots to connect over a certain line. And if you follow certain lines, you can unlock new abilities, you can unlock new equipment slots, you can unlock new command deck slot. There's also these cool gadgets that you can unlock if you follow a certain path. Like, one increases the difficulty of the enemies, but they drop a lot more rare and valuable items if you do that, so it's kind of a trade-off. There's not really much in your way except for those glitch blocks, but you can easily remove those, and you're able to unlock more of those slot fillers and the system sectors too as well. It's very similar to the Final Fantasy X's Fear's Grid system. That's the thing I see compared to the most. I actually kind of like this. I kind of do. I've never been a fan myself of overcomplicating leveling up system. I think it's simple and works for a good reason, shows you what progressions you've made, it upgrades your stats, it gives you new abilities, helps you easily keep track of where you've been and where you can upgrade to. And you know, making it overly complicated can sometimes just be annoying. Final Fantasy X's Fear Grid system, like the tutorial for that thing was like 5 minutes long because it has to explain so many of the things in that, and you know, have to make it make sense because it's kind of crazy and out there. But with this, it simplifies that to the point where I think it's actually all right. You feel like you're actually progressing in the stat matrix system. You know, it's not hard to unlock. It's not hard to get that kind of stuff. You feel like you're actually making progress and progressing towards a goal and connecting things. The strategy of planning on where you place these blocks is actually kind of cool and not too complicated. It's not how I prefer doing it. I think pure just leveling up is the way to go. But if they have to do it in a complicated way, I think this is cool and it's kind of fun to kind of look around at it. I like it much better than Days leveling up system. I hate the block system. You feel like you have to make compromises in order to level up in that game, and it's no fun. Command matrix is where you plan your commands out. You can place certain things in there. There's 2 slots for each command slot, and you can combine two different abilities together to create one bigger ability. Keep that going for a while. And you can unlock some pretty OP things in the command matrix if you know what you're doing. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. I forgot to talk about finishers. There's a meter in the game that when you attack enemies, it increases. And when you get to the end of that meter, you can perform a finisher. And there's a lot of cool ones in the game. It turns you into like a different kind of mode entirely. And some cool minigame elements to it. Like there's one where you do a spin around and you have to spin around pressing the buttons in the circle in time to complete the move. There's also like a rhythm one where you have to press the right buttons at the right time to attack enemies. Mechanics wise, it could be better. With the DS, you don't have analog control unless you are a Chad like me. Even if you do that though, it still acts like if it's a D-pad. You only have 8 directions to go with a D-pad. The levels are based around that though. There's not any weird twists or turns or anything like that. It just can be kind of awkward, especially when you're trying to platform, because the camera, the only way to move the camera is if you grab onto a ledge and it flips behind Sora, or look a certain way, press the R button, and it will see what Sora is looking at. And if you hold down R, you can do a little bit more finer control. Platforming with that can be a bitch because you are constantly switching directions when you're doing these platformings. Obviously, it can't be a straight line. It has to be hard somehow. In order to do that, you have to land on a block, move Sora in that direction, then press R. It's not ideal for a platforming kind of setting, especially when you're on those special blocks. Like there's a bouncy block that bounces you when you do it, but sometimes it's on the other direction. So you have to get the camera in the right direction, point Sora in that direction. Hopefully he goes there, and then try to grab onto the ledge. And sometimes he doesn't even do it. There's those blocks that disappear after like 5 seconds. You have to get on the block right as it comes on, turn Sora, turn the camera, then jump, and hope you can do all that in 5 seconds. And sometimes it can be a little hard. Platforming in this game, not really that fun, especially in the end of the game. And those sections were fun. They were fun! The worlds themselves, it's like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it's pretty much just an excuse to play Kingdom Hearts 1 again. It's much less than it was with Days Enchanted Memories. There's, again, only 3 worlds, but they managed to pack some cool stuff into those levels. There's like a unique gameplay element of each world, and that makes the worlds feel unique. And I didn't like in the Olympus Coliseum world, they turned to a turn-based system. I don't get why they did that. I don't think that was necessary. Also, the keyhole sections at the end of each of the world, they're all kind of different in their own little unique way, and I think they're kind of cool. Except for that side-scrolling stage. God, that was some bullshit. Gameplay in this game, it's all right. And I prefer it over Days. Kill me. Gameplay in Days. Biggest complaint with that is the block system. I explained that before. Hate it. Feels like in order to progress, you have to make compromises. It's no fun. I think that, in the gameplay in here, it's just a lot more fun. I think the system matrix adds a lot of stuff to it. I mean, there's some stuff that adds some elements to Days as well, but not as much as there is in here. That makes the game a lot more fun. It makes the game a lot more cool. Gameplay was pretty similar in 358 over 2 days, and that's not a big problem, but there's a lot of cool extra stuff that's added to the gameplay of this to make it a lot more exciting, a lot more engaging, and something that you just can appreciate more with it. Again, the command deck system, kind of controversial with some people. I think in this game, it can add a lot of extra stuff compared to the regular command system in Days. You can be pretty OP and have a lot of fun destroying enemies and being a fucking boss in this game. It's fun. Call me a bitch gamer if you want. I don't care. I think it's fun. This is not to say that Days is a bad game. I don't think that at all. The story in that game is top notch. Of course, I much prefer the story in that game over the one in this one. That's one of the things that keeps me returning to it and, watching the movie at least. But, gameplay-wise, just not as fun and engaging as this game is, in my opinion. And, with it being separated into different days or missions, feels even more chopped up than this game does. So, that's another thing that could be a complaint with that. But don't think Days is bad. I just think Recoded gameplay-wise is better. But yeah, Recoded, it's a cool game, I would say. I got a lot more out of it than I expected. I was fairly surprised on how cool the gameplay was in this and how fun it was to play. It's something that, you don't have to really go back to. I probably won't go back to this in the near future. It's definitely something that I had a lot of fun with. If you haven't played it yet, I recommend you give it a try. There's a lot of cool stuff hanging in here if you just give it a try. Where does it rank on my tier list, though? That sucker is going straight in... That's a good question. I don't know. Now I'm kind of debating it. Because there's kind of 2 separate parts of it. Because the story, not that great. Probably put that like a D tier, maybe. But the gameplay is actually pretty good. So I put that in like B tier. So fuck it. I'll compromise, put it in the middle. Let's go in C tier. Tell me down in the comments below what you guys think about Recoded. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Have you played it in a long time? What's your opinions on it? Did you have this game growing up, and what did you think about it back then? Also, make sure to subscribe, like this video, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord server, turn on notifications. Really awesome if you did. This has been Matt, and I will see you guys in the next video, whatever that's gonna be. So yeah, bye.